What is up, guys? Chase Aubrey here, bringing you my long review for WWE NXT Fatal 4-Way, otherwise also known as NXT TakeOver 2. This event took place live on the WWE Network, and I'm not going to make a $9.99 joke. Pretty much, if you guys want a shorter review, you're not here for the long stuff, description box down below. My short review will be uploaded later tonight on my channel. If you guys just don't want to hear about the whole show, there's only like a certain segment that you want to check out. For all you archived listeners, there will be timestamps, so you can click on the timestamps of when me and my guests talk about those certain subjects. So anyways, guys, let's introduce my guest, one of my good friends here on YouTube. I come on In the Hot Seat Live. I'm a regular member on that show. He's the host of In the Hot Seat Live, a great show that you should check out. His channel's in the description box. Give it up to my boy, David Rivera. David, what is up?
Not much. Thanks for having me, man.
No problem, David. And then another guy that I have on here, he does NR 2003, NASCAR Racing 2003 on his YouTube channel. Also talks about the professional wrestling. You know, I'm in the NR 2003 series. Give it up for my boy, Thrash Maniac 99, otherwise known as Levi McIntyre. His stuff is in the description box down below. Levi, what's going on, man?
Oh, nothing much.
Nothing much, man?
Hanging around. Yeah.
Alrighty, man, dude. What did you guys think about NXT TakeOver this Thursday on the WWE Network? What did you guys think about the show? David, what did you think about NXT TakeOver tonight?
Overall, I thought it was great. I tend to enjoy the NXT shows like this, so I'm looking forward to the next ones that they do.
All right, Levi, what about you? Is Levi here? Alrighty then.
Awesome.
I guess we lost Levi for a minute. Mojo Rawley probably ate him or something. But anyways, when it comes down to me for TakeOver tonight, I actually thought it was a pretty solid show. You know, I felt the second hour was really, really good of TakeOver tonight. But when it came down to the first hour, I just thought it was a blah hour. I was just kind of like, I don't know. It was kind of hit or miss. So anyways, we kicked off NXT TakeOver tonight with the NXT Tag Team Championship match. The long-reigning tag team champions, the Ascension, Connor and Victor, took on the new team of Kalisto and Sin Cara. So Kalisto and Sin Cara won the NXT Tag Team Tournament to get the rights to face Connor and Victor for those tag team straps. David, what did you think about the matchup here?
Yeah, this was a nice way to start things off. I really did enjoy this match. I thought it was a great match, and the Ascension now actually finally losing those tag team titles. So now I am thinking that the Ascension are definitely going to make it to the main roster very soon. I'm really excited for that. I really liked what they had in store for a main event too and everything. Now that we have Sin Cara as well, Kalisto as the tag team champion. So now I want to see what other tag teams are we going to have in store too as well for the future.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the Ascension, they've been dominating that NXT tag team title scene for a long time. You know, they haven't been able to build other tag teams in the NXT title scene. And now, you know, the Ascensions are going to be moving on to that main roster. And we'll talk more about that after we talk about Sin Cara and Kalisto a little bit more. But, you know, they're going to be moving on. And now it's time for these other tag teams to finally step up. Levi, if you're here, what did you think about the opening tag team title match? All right, I guess Levi is not here. He is a ghost. He has disappeared. Probably went into Mojo Rawley's universe.
Oh, I think he's back.
Is Levi McIntyre back? Levi, are you here?
Hey, there he is.
I have no idea. I have no idea what is happening tomorrow.
All right. NXT Tag Team Title match. What did you think about the opening match for NXT TakeOver?
I thought it was a really good opening match, although I was shocked as hell that the Ascension lost. Because the last team I would expect to win was Kalisto and Sin Cara. I thought they would have had another team built up and try to step up and beat the Ascension, but boy, was I wrong.
Why were you kind of shocked by that? You know, like, because they've been doing a good job building up Kalisto and Sin Cara as, like, you know, a big tag team to challenge the Ascension. How come you were kind of shocked that, you know, they upset them? I'm just curious.
Well, the thing is, I haven't watched much NXT in the last month or so, but yeah, like, I didn't know what they were doing with Sin Cara down there, so that's probably why, but it is what it is.
Okay, yeah. For me personally, I thought this was a pretty solid match to open up the show. My biggest problem with this is that I felt it end too quickly. It didn't feel like the glorious ending that I was hoping for. I mean, here you have, the Ascension that have been dominating for 344 days, and they lose like so quickly. It's like the blink of an eye. Not even a double team move finishes them. Like, I just kind of felt the ending was lackluster, but definitely the beginning and the middle of the match was really solid stuff between both Kalisto and Sin Cara. Congratulations to Sin Cara. Finally, this character wins a title in the WWE. It took him 3 freaking years, but he's won a title in the WWE. Yes, I know it's not the original Sin Cara. It's fucking Hunico. But hey, the character itself, Sin Cara, the WWE's been shoving that shit down our throats for so damn long. It's great to see that he finally sees some progress as a character. So I'm glad that he's the NXT Tag Team Champions with Kalisto. Now, it was kind of awkward seeing Kalisto and Sin Cara trying to cut a promo. Like, I like it better when they use it where Sin Cara can't talk. And it was kind of awkward afterwards. They're cutting the promo after their match. And they called their team what? Lucha Dragon? Dragon Lucha?
Yeah, Lucha Dragons.
Yeah.
Lucha Dragon. Okay. Oh, let me just say that's a lame name. I'm sorry. Lucha Dragon is a lame name, dude. I don't like it whatsoever. It just feels so damn forced, especially because Kalisto and Sin Cara, they have nothing to do with dragons. I mean, Sin Cara means no face, and Kalisto, I forgot what Kalisto means, but you get the idea. They have nothing to do with dragons. I don't get where this Lucha Dragon comes from. I just don't like the name. I wish they just called themselves Lucha Lucha. That would have worked out perfectly. Just call themselves Lucha Lucha. They don't need to be called Lucha Dragon. Like, that just sounds something like that Vince would say, like, you're going to be called Lucha Dragon, and he just fucking loved that name from the start. What do you think, David, about the new name, Lucha Dragon, for Kalisto and Sin Cara?
I think they should just call them as themselves, just Sin Cara and as well Kalisto. I think that's fine. Don't have to really call them from a different name unless they have something else going for them in the future. But yeah, it happens.
Okay, what about you, Levi? What do you think about Lucha Dragon, that name?
Hate it.
Hate it.
No
yeah.
sense.
Makes no sense at all. But whatever.
Yeah, it just makes no sense to me. And now the Ascension lost the tag team straps, and now the Ascension, they're going to be moving on, presumably, to the main roster. I've been saying it for months on my channel, and I think I've said it on In the Hot Seat Live with David a bunch of times. I've said it. The Ascension are going to win the tag team titles from the Usos once they reach the main roster. Once they debut on Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown, wherever show they're debuting on, their first match is going to be against the Usos, and they're going to defeat them for those straps. That's what I truly believe. Levi, what do you think the Ascension are going to do once they reach the main roster?
I say that if the Usos are still going to be tag champs by the time Ascension comes up, Ascension, first match they have with them, new tag champs. That's what I'm going with.
All right. What about you, David?
For me, I somewhat see like what they've been doing with NXT, just really being dominant and everything, and being a wrecking force with each other. So I'm really curious to see what they're going to do, but they are definitely going to show some really great stuff.
All right, then. Now, for all you guys that are watching live, you can comment down below. This is a live interactive show. If we don't get to the comments right away, just know that, Google Hangouts is really, really slow, and the stream is slower than the comment section. So comment down below what you think about Lucha Dragon, Sin Cara, and Kalisto becoming tag champs, what you think the Ascension is going to do once they reach the main roster. Comment that all down below. All right, so then the next match we got on TakeOver tonight, we had CJ Parker was going to face a mystery opponent. Now, everyone on the internet, they thought it was going to be Kevin Steen. They thought it was going to be Prince Devitt. Everyone's like, oh, they're finally going to make their debuts on the main roster. Nope. Instead, it was Baron Corbin, who this dude looks like a beast. And he made quick work of CJ Parker. Before I get into my thoughts on Baron Corbin, Levi, what were your thoughts of seeing Baron Corbin?
I was kind of impressed. I mean, he's a tall dude, and he's got an interesting look to him. And boy, when I saw him go in there on CJ Parker, I was like, whoa. Yeah.
All right. What about you, David? What did you think about Baron Corbin?
Yeah, he's pretty impressive and as well, I think, pretty intimidating with that. So I'm a little interested to see what he's going to be doing. I think he'll be doing pretty well.
Yeah, like, see, the thing with me is, like, they need to keep on the track with Baron Corbin. I don't see main event star potential in him yet. It's because he's new. You know, I know a lot of people say, oh, this guy's going to be a star just because they look at his size and everything, but size is only one thing. I mean, look at Nathan Jones, for fuck's sakes. That dude was huge as hell, and look at him. He's garbage. He's no longer in the company. He's no longer wrestling. You know, you can have all the size in the world, but it doesn't matter if you don't know how to use it properly. It seems like the WWE did a good job with his debut, and keep doing this. Keep having him beat people in a short time manner before it gets old and stale. Now, my biggest fear with this guy is, and I know you guys will agree with me, do you think once this guy, let's say he takes a couple years in NXT, right? He goes to the main roster, and he starts getting that main event push. You know, the IWC, they start loving big guys until they start reaching that world title. For whatever reason, they hate when the big guys win the world title. Could you see the IWC turning their back on Baron Corbin if this guy ever reaches the main event scene? David, I want to hear from you.
Yeah, sadly, it never does fail. I mean, I would like to see a change up in that and see what else they can really do. So hopefully, we'll get to see something new out of that, which I would really like.
All right, Levi, what about you? What about you with Baron Corbin? Do you think like the IWC will turn on him once he gets to the main event scene?
Well, it's like the IWC logic is like whenever the IWC attaches themselves to somebody, examples, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, they attach themselves to him to the point where they want to see them be champion, and you know what happens? It's like it's like this is the thing. If you become an internet darling and you're on top, you're fucked. Because it's like that seems to be the thing with the IWC nowadays. It's like they latch themselves onto somebody. Well, I'm not saying like you guys, but like other people. They latch onto somebody and to the point where they want to see them rise up, and by the time they do and they become champion, they got to find some way to complain about them. I mean, look at CM Punk. People were complaining about how he was being a mid-card WWE champion. Look at Daniel Bryan. He finally became champion, and the fans didn't like it because they thought he was being booked stupidly. Well, they were champions. People should be happy that they were champions and not find some way to bitch about it. I mean, come on.
Well, what I'm asking is, I'm not saying Baron Corbin.
With Baron Corbin,
I'm not saying Baron Corbin is going to be an IWC favorite, but I can see, you know, kind of like with Roman Reigns now, you know, how many people were on Roman Reigns' dick earlier this year? Oh, Roman Reigns, next champion. Now all of a sudden everyone's like, I'm sick of the Superman punch. Screw the spear by Roman Reigns. And like I could see that happening to Baron Corbin 2 years down the line. Yeah. People get sick and tired of him. Like, you know, I always say this, and this is just me. Maybe because I'm a mark for big guy wrestlers. I like big guy wrestlers. I don't mind them whatsoever. I don't think they're trash like most of the other wrestling fans do. To me personally, you need to have diversity in the main event. If your main event is full of fucking vanilla-ass midgets doing the same moves, that gets boring after a while. Sure, it's considered good work rate to most of you guys, but to some of us out there, it's considered bland, boring, stale. That's why I stopped watching Ring of Honor back in 2011, because I felt nothing was changing with that company. It felt bland, boring, stale. And, you know, I get it. If you're just someone who likes smaller guys, that's cool on your book. But to me personally, I think Baron Corbin could be that one exception of big guy wrestlers that the fans, you know, don't really turn their back on. I mean, he has, like I said, a really great look, almost 7 feet tall, and he looked impressive in his debut takeover. All right, so we're going to get all the Enzo Amore and Sylvester Lefort stuff out of the way. I don't even think we need to talk about the match. Do we need to talk about this match? Because the match wasn't really the most important part between these two guys, in my personal opinion. And the match was bad.
Yeah, it was all right, though.
Yeah, I liked it personally, but I just wanted to see the long-haired rich guy get shaved. But boy,
see, that's what they did right on the. This is what I felt they did really good with. The problem is that I feel Sylvester Lefort. No one cares about this guy. I say it in my NXT reviews all the time. The Legionnaires, they're like the Los Matadores of NXT. You don't give a crap when the Los Matadores win or lose. You just don't. Same with the Legionnaires. I don't give a crap if they win or lose. Like, they've done such a poor job building up Sylvester Lefort and Marquise. What's his last name again? Marquise?
Look,
I
he's
don't
something. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, they've done such a poor job building these two guys up. Like, I just didn't care when Enzo Amore was trying to chase Sylvester Lefort backstage. Did I find that stuff entertaining? Absolutely. I thought they did a good job, you know, with the backstage stuff and, you know, the post-match stuff. I thought they did a good job with the post-match and backstage stuff, and I can get behind Enzo Amore and Big Cass. I feel those two are very entertaining characters, but when it came down to
they're
it,
awesome.
but when it comes down to Sylvester Lefort, I just don't care. I'm like, who cares if this guy gets his head shaved? I'm like, whatever, man. Like, the dude's boring. He doesn't matter to me. NXT has done a bad job at building up Lefort as a good villain, in my personal opinion. You know, I mean, you got your two really good heroes in Amore and Big Cass, but you've done a bad job building up their adversaries, their villains, to make them seem like they're threats. So that's just me. That's why I didn't really care all that much what they were doing tonight. I mean, it was entertaining stuff, don't get me wrong, but I just didn't really care for it all that much. What about you, David? What did you think about all the backstage stuff that, you know, Sylvester Lefort and Enzo Amore were doing?
Yeah, I thought they were fun. They were actually really entertaining. I like Enzo Amore and Enzo Cole and Cassidy. I think they got really something going for them. They actually do well as a tag team, so it's really cool. I really want to see what else they're going to have in store, so they're always fun to see.
All right, what about you, Levi? What do you think about, you know, Enzo Amore and Sylvester Lefort tonight?
I enjoyed that stuff, and I will say with like what you brought up with Sylvester Lefort, how they've not done a good job with booking him up. I will say over a year ago when they had Scott Dawson with them, I thought it was all right, but then Scott Dawson got hurt, and that was the end of that. And pretty much since that point, Lefort's just gone all place practically, and that's all. And like saying how like he's not been booked properly as a villain. That's one of the weaknesses I think WWE really has overall with how they book the faces and heels for the most part. They book some of their faces as being corporate puppets and their heels as a bunch of chicken shits, except for Brock Lesnar. Like, most of the heels you have nowadays are nothing but chicken shits, not like something unique. Like, that's a problem with WWE nowadays, is how they book the faces and heels.
Yeah, man, I totally agree. It's like, you know, there's no really, like, badass legit heels that you can kind of, like, get behind or kind of like. You know, like, the last, like, legit heel for the WWE was, like, what, Edge? Is Edge, like, literally the last legit heel we've had? Maybe Del Rio when he first started? But we haven't had a legit heel in a long-ass time. I mean, there's short spurts. Like Jack Swagger, when he came back as the Real American, he was being booked legitly until all of a sudden he was like, I was going to win the world title, but then I got high, and then he had to go leave. Yeah, he had to go
high and drunk.
Yeah, exactly. He had to get high and drunk, crossfade, baby, all day. So, you know, pretty much, you know, Swagger, he was being booked as a legit heel, but, yeah, we don't have any legit strong heels to the point where you can really boo them and stuff. And that's the thing with Lefort. You know, he's just a bad villain. And that's not his fault. Like I said, it's more of the booking's fault. But really, to be honest, I just couldn't get into when Enzo Amore was chasing him around. Did I find it very entertaining and think it would have been good TV? Absolutely. It's just that the character involved in it, I just didn't care for it all that much. And that's just my opinion on it. Alrighty then. Now it's time for probably one of the most talked about segments on NXT, one that I was excited for, the debut of Kenta. Originally, Ric Flair was supposed to come out, and I'm glad Ric Flair did not come out for this because, in all honesty, like, I love Flair, don't get me wrong. I love him. I love his theme music and everything, but seriously, Flair would have just made this into a big joke. But Kenta debuted into the WWE. William Regal announced him. He came out to the ring. He said he loved WWE, like Vladimir Kozlov. I swear he sounded like Vladimir Kozlov when he said that. You know, he's happy to be in the WWE. He's happy to be part of NXT. They did a good job with him, and I liked his theme music. I liked how they treat him like a big freaking deal. My only problem with him speaking is, Kenta, look, we don't have subtitles, man. I get it. You're still learning English. I understand, my brother. But please, man, don't go into this English to random Japanese to English, man. That's really, really hard to understand what you're trying to say in the promos. It ruins the flow of the promos. But, you know, I was really excited because I was like, wow, they're going to actually have Kenta keep his name. Like, Kenta was going to actually keep his name. But nope. WWE and Kenta, they have to change the name because Kenta wants to keep his name. So you know what? His new name, based off his idol, Kenta's new name, Hideo Indami. Levi, what do you think about the name Hideo Indami and Kenta's promo overall?
Well, I mean, for a guy who's still learning English, I thought it was an alright promo. Better than S.A. Rios. Then again, S.A. Rios couldn't speak English worth a shit. And because of that, he got fired back in '01. But as far as the name change, I don't agree with it. I mean, I'll probably start getting used to it later down the line, but for now, I'm just gonna still call him Kenta because I was just used to it. It's like some when people like sports, like NASCAR changes their series names sometimes, but I'm not gonna call them that because I'm so used to calling it something else. Like now they changed the NASCAR Nationwide Series to the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I'm used to calling it the Busch Series because that's what it had been called for like 25 years. So
Yeah.
it's just in some cases, I'm just used to calling people by different names or think by different names than what they are now because I've been known to it longer and I was exposed to it longer, and you just get used to it after a while. But maybe down the road, once I figure out how to say his name, Hideo Itami, I guess is what it is.
Yes.
Then maybe I'll start calling him that. I mean, at first, when Adrian Neville came in, I thought I was just going to keep calling him Pac because that was what his name was in the Indies.
In all honesty,
after a while, you get used to it.
In all honesty, with Pac, I didn't really like his name in the Indies. I liked Adrian Neville more than Pac. I was one of the few people that were like, oh, Pac? Adrian Neville? That sounds better than Pac. I actually like that name. David, what about you? What do you think about the name change, man?
The name change is going to take some time to get used to, but that happens anyway. I really like the debut too. I thought it was really something special, and I've never really seen the guy before. I've heard a lot about him. I've really seen very little of him, so now I'm able to keep up with that and check him out more. And the guy seems really badass, and I like what he has to offer, so it's going to be a hell of a ride.
I will say with Kenta, like I didn't know too much about him. Like the main thing I knew about him was one of his ROH matches against Samoa Joe when I watched it, and it was badass. So that was one of the few things I knew about Kenta. So.
Yeah. I'm going to do a quick little history on Kenta for some of you guys that don't know about Kenta. He's a famous Japanese wrestler. He innovated the GTS. He innovated that flying knee that Daniel Bryan does. Daniel Bryan, CM Punk. If you guys like Daniel Bryan, CM Punk wrestling, you're going to love Kenta wrestling, except Kenta's way more faster than Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. That's just the bottom line. He's one of my favorite independent wrestlers. I made a video about Kenta, helping WWE would treat Kenta right, and so far they've been treating him right. You know, Hideo Indami, you know, to me personally, you've been promoting him as Kenta. You've been saying, hey, Kenta's coming to NXT. You've been talking about Kenta. Why change his name? You know, you've been promoting him as Kenta. Why, you've been talking about him as Kenta. Why change his name to something else, to something different? You know, that's my biggest issue with the name change. It's just that, you know, they changed the name. So, like, when they've been promoting him as Kenta this whole time, but I'll get used to it. And it's not a bad name. It could be a worse name. It could be very, very terrible. But it's actually a pretty solid name. You know, it has solid theme music. After Hideo Indami was born, all of a sudden the Ascension came out. They were pissed off. They wanted a tag team rematch right off the spot. They pushed Indami around. Indami's like, oh no, man, I ain't taking any of that. They made Indami look like a beast. Indami took the shit out of the Ascension, beat the crap out of them, grabbed the steel chair, and he looked like such a boss, like a Japanese mob boss.
Yeah,
he got the steel chair, freaking put that on the ground, sat on it, and said, come on, guys, come to
Don't mess with that guy. He'll kick some ass.
They did a really good job with Indami/Kenta. See, I'm already calling him Indami, so it's easy for me to like get used to the name changes. But you know, they did a good job with Indami here tonight, aka Kenta. They made him look strong because, really, to be honest, you know, I feel like they're going to try to use Indami in the main event scene soon enough, man. Like, we're way too talented to be wasted in some little side feud right now. This guy is a legit main eventer and should have a big match at the next special event. He's going to be debuting next week on NXT, and, you know, Friday's the NXT taping. So he's pretty much debuting tomorrow in WWE. But in real life, in WWE time, when we're going to see it, it's going to be next week. So it's going to be pretty damn awesome to see what they do with Hideo Indami, a.k.a. Kenta, in the near future. They made him look like a beast tonight. That's what I really got to say. Any final thoughts on Hideo and Dami, a.k.a. Kenta, before we move on to the match I took a piss during?
Can't wait to see more. That's all I gotta say.
What about you, Levi?
Same.
All right, I took a piss during this match. Mojo Rawley taking on Bull Dempsey. You guys watch my weekly NXT reviews. I said I would take a piss during this match. I wouldn't review this match on my channel. I was pissed off that the WWE was doing this stupid feud. I said no one would benefit from this feud. It seems like no one benefited whatsoever. David, what happened during this match? What did I miss during this amazing match between Bull Dempsey and Hideo Itami? Wow, I'm thinking of Kenta. Bull Dempsey.
Well, you really didn't miss much at all. There was actually pretty much short and sweet and to the point, and Bull Dempsey actually was able to get his win over Mojo Rawley pretty much. So, I mean, I don't really care for Mojo Rawley that much. For me, I am kind of interested in Bull Dempsey, so we'll see what happens, what else is going to happen for him.
Levi, is that how the match went? It was just a quick little squash match?
Epic squash, I might as well add. It was like pretty much under.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. I remember when I watched Arrival and they were featuring Mojo Rawley. I was like, oh my god, is the WWE really trying to make me get to care about Mojo Rawley? Like, they were shoving that dude down your throat. They were trying to make you love Mojo Rawley, and I was like, I'm not gonna get hyped for this motherfucker. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna get hyped for Mojo Rawley whatsoever. I just don't like his character. It's just a dumb character. It's like, I don't get hype, I stay hype, and he runs around and he just gets all like, it's like a weird character. I just can't get into it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing against him as a wrestler. I think he's kind of pretty okay in the ring. You know, not great or good, but he's okay. He's a former NFL player trying to make a transition, which is fine by me. If you're a former NFL player trying to make a transition, I'm cool with that. But you know, it's just I just don't like the character. It's just like such a lame, boring character, man. I just don't like it whatsoever. So that's good to know that Bull Dempsey squashed Mojo Rawley up. But what do you guys see in Bull Dempsey?
Well, in a way, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I say Bull Dempsey, he's a big dude, but I really don't see him doing very much. He's probably gonna be one of very few big guys that probably won't do hardly jack crap. Then again, who knows what they're gonna do with him later down the road.
Yeah, in a way, I kind of got the feeling like he was kind of like Rhino a little bit. I could see him doing a couple of stuff, but you never know, really, honestly.
Yeah, like, to me, I just feel like he's like a pet project that they're really high on right now. And then afterwards, when they kind of feel that he's not really getting over and that really this character is just kind of a lame duck, you know, once he reaches the main roster, I think he's going to be fine in the NXT developmental system. But once he reaches the main roster and they kind of like, you know, try to push him to that mid-card title scene and they realize, yeah, he's not really that good of a character, that's when they will, you know, change him up a bit. You know, like I said, it's like, so when it comes down to wrestlers, for me, people, just know, I don't give a shit if you're trash in the ring all that much. If you're trash in the ring, you know, sometimes you can make that up. Unless you're Gunner from TNA, you can never make that up. But when it comes down to it, you know, sometimes it's mostly, for me, characters. I fell in love with professional wrestling for characters. And if your character sucks, frankly, I may not like you. I may appreciate your in-ring skills if you have a crappy character, but I may not like you overall. And that's just how I am as a wrestling fan. So, you know, with Bull Dempsey and Mojo Rawley, two of the worst characters for me personally in WWE right now, I just didn't care for this match, and I'm glad that it was a squash match. All right. That was hour number 1 of NXT, people. You know, that to me, that was a flat first hour. That's just my personal opinion. I felt, you know, they did some good stuff. The tag team match was solid. They did good with in Dami's debut. You know, I felt, you know, some of the LaForte and Amore stuff backstage was semi-entertaining, but like I said, I couldn't get into LaForte as a villain, so that kind of hurt it for me a bit. But then we get into hour number 2. And when I saw hour number 2, and it literally hit hour number 2, I was like, wow, they are going to give the 2 top matches a lot of fucking time. A lot of fucking time.
They did.
And we got the women's title match between Charlotte, women's champion, taking on Bayley. Bayley got some new theme music. I don't know. I'm not feeling Bayley's new theme music, man. Like, I liked her old.
Not bad.
It's not terrible. I'm just not feeling it. Like,
the entrance is awesome. I love that.
her entrance is tight. Like, I love the entrance.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, I felt her old music fit her entrance more than this current one. You know, it's not a bad song. You know, there could be worse songs out there. Adrian Neville. But, you know,
Wow.
he has when we get into the NXT main event, I'll talk about how terrible Adrian Neville's theme song is, man. But, you know, Bayley's theme song's all right. I love Charlotte Flair's theme song, and I'm telling you all right now, this is exclusive if you're watching this live or via the archives. Whenever Charlotte Flair comes to the main roster, the next show that's going to come into California, I'm going to get front row seats. And then I'm going to become dancing Charlotte Flair fan. I'm going to be all like doing the dance, like,
Yeah, that's my girl.
that song.
I love Charlotte.
That theme song of Charlotte Flair's, you can dance to that shit. That's something you play at the club and you're all grinding with the girl and shit, man. I love that fucking theme song. One of my favorite theme songs, dude. One of my favorite theme songs in the WWE right now. But we had Charlotte, Bayley, Women's Championship match. I thought the video package was fucking awesome for this match because, let me just say this. If you haven't watched NXT from a week-to-week basis, the feud was pretty boring, the build-up to it at least. But this video package made it seem like, oh my God, they were doing a really good job building up this feud. But really, to be honest, if you watch it on a week-to-week basis, it was kind of blah. But that video package made this match really, really exciting. And let me just tell you, the match itself, I thought it was a really good match between these two women. I wish I got a little bit more time. But before I get into it, David, what about you?
Yeah, I really thought it was a great match, and I almost thought Charlotte was going to lose, but thankfully she was able to retain. She's easily one of my favorites right now. I love that she was able to get the win and retain the championship. So once she does get to the main roster, she's going to be really awesome. And like I said, one of the dirtiest women in the game, might I add. Just had to state that off. Same.
What about you, Levi? What did you think about the NXT Women's Title match between Charlotte and Bayley?
I thought it was a great match. Not nearly as great as the match from TakeOver 1 with Charlotte and Natalya.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a great match nonetheless. I gotta be honest, I wanted to cry when Bayley lost. I was kind of expecting. I was kind of expecting Bayley was gonna win the title right there after she did that crazy Hurricane Rana from the top rope.
Oh, yeah, that was dope,
man. And wow, all I gotta say is Bayley, she will be NXT champion at some point. No doubt about it, because she definitely showed in that match that she has what it takes.
Yeah, the chemistry was just awesome.
I really like one thing I will say about this match, I really like the storytelling of this match. They did a good job telling the story. They had Charlotte look dominant for most of the match. You know, and Charlotte, the thing about her, what I like most about her is that for someone who is considered green by a lot of people in the IWC, I don't know why people say she's green, she can control a fucking match. She can be dominant for the first half of the match. She does a great job. Maybe it's because she knows how to do different moves with the figure 4 headlock that she does, but she can dominate a match when she wants to. And she did a really great job controlling Bayley here tonight in this match. I really did enjoy myself watching Charlotte be dominant and loving the whole, like, Bayley. Every time she's trying to get a move off, Charlotte's like, you can't hit me, bitch. Come on, keep trying. I'm going to just take you down. I really liked what they did with Charlotte and Bayley. I felt the ending picked up really nice. And when Bayley kicked out of the moonsault, I kind of wish they had that little stare down just a little bit longer between Charlotte and Bayley. If they had that little stare down that they had where Bayley looked like she was bailing up, hulking up brother, as the term says, you know, I wish they would have, you know, kind of kept her down a little bit more and had her hulk up a little bit more before Charlotte hits the natural selection for the win. That's just me, but this was still a good match. Not as good as Natalya versus Charlotte, that's for sure. Not as good as that one. That match, to me, is the best women's match you'll see this year. I don't care what anyone says. That's the best women's match, Charlotte versus Natty at NXT TakeOver 1. But, yeah, good match. Afterwards, my girl, built on self-success, Hinc, head in charge. She's not a ratchet. Sasha Banks, BANK $, comes out and starts to make fun of Bayley. And then afterwards, Charlotte protects Bayley after the match, throws her to the side, and throws Sasha to the side. And it seems like they're going to try to set up like some triple threat thing here. But, like, you know, I was really surprised that Charlotte retained too, though, because I really thought they were going to try to get her on the main roster soon. But I'm glad they're not going to rush her. And I'm glad that they are going to keep her down on NXT for a little bit because I think she can put on some really good matches with a bunch of other women there. But, yeah, you know what? I'm fine with the decision. And like we all said, it was a good to great match and one that definitely was needed to get me back interested into the show because like I said, the first hour for me, at least, it was just kind of like after the tag team title match, it was like and then afterwards it was like Kenta, it was like and then it was this match, it was like, oh god. And now we get into the NXT Fatal 4-Way match for the NXT Championship. What this event was built around, the big featured match, the video packages, the interview that they had before on the pre-show, great stuff. They did some really great stuff with all four of these men. In my personal opinion, I thought they did a really great job with all four of these men. They made you excited to see them win. Sami Zayn, he got the Jeff Hardy rooftops edit. I always call it the Jeff Hardy rooftops edit, where they play off that you're an underdog and like I'll do anything to win, and it's like standing on the rooftops, everybody screaming, like anytime they give you an alternative rock song in your video package, that's a Jeff Hardy rooftops edit song. That means like you want to see this guy win, but you know he's not going to win. So I already knew Sami Zayn wasn't going to win. Watching Adrian Neville's video package, it was kind of like I was saying to myself, the WWE might be trying to tease some heel stuff with Adrian Neville, especially in the interview when he was talking about, being confident or cocky and talking about how he was undefeated in 2014. So I was getting that WWE was trying to say maybe you will see some heel stuff from Adrian Neville this match. Tyson Kidd, fact. I felt that like after his video package, I was like, oh, well, they're going to have him win. And then Tyler Breeze, it was just kind of whatever, I just didn't think he was going to win. He had the lowest odds to me. Tyler Breeze had the lowest odds to me, man. Tyler Breeze had the lowest odds to me to win this match. That's for me for sure. But we get into the match itself, and before I asked everyone what they thought about the match, let me just say, Adrian Neville's theme song is the worst theme song in all the WWE. I mean, that song is terrible, man. It's like
techno music.
Yeah, the biscuit to get the biscuit. It's like, what the fuck are they saying? Like, his first theme song was really good. This theme song, man,
that's the music you find in the club.
No, that's not a music you hear in the club. That's like music that you hear like your shitty band down the street trying to play because they think they're going to make big time, man. They're like, oh, want to hear my song? Sure. Gotta risk it to get the biscuit. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, go, go! It's like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, you wonder why he doesn't get a reaction, WWE? Because that song sucks. Like, seriously, that song is just so damn bad, man. It's just a terrible song overall, but that's just my opinion. David, what did you think about the Fatal 4-Way title match?
Yeah, this match was great. I really loved this one. And with that being said, I did have actually Tyson Kidd and Sami Zayn as my main two picks, and it came down to it with the whole possible heel turn that I think that maybe most likely would happen. I could see something like that in Adrian Neville, so it really showed tonight, and everyone was able to pull out all the stops, a lot of amazing spots that I loved and I thought was dope, and they really took over, I will say that.
Pun.
All right, Levi, what did you think about the main event? And if you guys are in the comment section, comment down below what you thought about NXT TakeOver. If you have any questions, send in your questions that are related to WWE NXT tonight. And if not, we'll just end this stream a little bit later on.
All right, well, first of all, nice pun, David.
No problem.
But I thought this match was amazing. I really, really liked it. That Tower of Doom spot they did was crazy. Tyler Breeze getting his 2 cents in there where he's just kicking ass was cool. Sami Zayn's was like, whoa. Like, the dude friggin' like beats the crap out of Breeze, dives over the top on friggin' Neville, does the damn the thing he did in the match last year with Cesaro where he goes through the second and third rope and then the tornado DDT on the floor and then runs back in with the player's boot to the face of Kidd. I thought that was it right there, and then all of a sudden Neville pulling the referee, I was like,
when Sami Zayn hit that move, I literally said, wow. When Sami Zayn, like, after he hit the tornado DDT on Breeze and he got into the ring to set up the Helluva Kick, I literally said, wow, they're actually going to have Sami Zayn win this match. Like, I actually thought he was going to win.
Sure. And then Neville pulls the referee out, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Damn it, come on.
And then Zayn gets out, and then he gets his chin kicked the fuck off by Neville. And then Neville jump in, Red Arrow, and 1, 2, 3. Neville retains.
Yeah, this match was great. Pretty much like what you said, I love Sami Zayn's flurry at the end. That shit was awesome because I actually thought he was going to win. Tyson Kidd pretty much dominated most of this match. Good for you, Tyson Kidd, being the ring general in there. I love Tyler Breeze's 30 seconds of fury where he would come in, hit the beauty shot, hit a super kick, and it seemed like he was about to win. And I love this freak out. So Tyler Breeze, that shit was money. That shit was money.
Yeah, I will say that with Tyler Breeze, even though the beauty shot, even though he has a beauty shot, I still think that's one of the worst finishers in WWE right now because it's a freaking spinning heel kick.
Yeah, it's not a good finisher whatsoever. But it can work because he sets it up well. That's why it works for him. Other moments in this match, there was one big botch that I thought I figured out what they were going to try to do. When Adrian Neville was trying to do his little backflips, Sami Zayn was supposed to catch him and hit the Blue Thunder Bomb on him, but they botched the shit out of that. Good job for Tyson Kidd trying to cover it up really well. But, because he came in, broke up the pinfall, and did a good job making people forget about the botch altogether. But I really liked how they did the dynamics of this match. At first the heels are beating up the baby faces, and then they didn't have Adrian Neville wrestle all that much in this match. They kept throwing him out of the ring. Tyson Kidd was controlling it. The match was slow to start out. That's what I'll say. But it picked up near the middle of the match, and it was a really, really good match. Once again, to the middle of the match, and then near the end, it became a really great match where I was just enjoying myself, sitting back, watching it, wondering who was going to win. I actually thought Tyson Kidd was going to win, but I'm glad that he didn't. And don't get me wrong, I love Tyson Kidd on NXT, man. He's probably my favorite character. Fact is one of my favorite things. He makes me laugh every fucking time I see this dude. But I really thought they were going to have Tyson Kidd win, because I said the WWE does not have any balls to turn Adrian Neville heel. They wouldn't turn Adrian Neville heel. He's too much of a crowd favorite. He has a move that the fans will cheer for in the Red Arrow. It's like kind of trying to turn Billy Kidman heel. Remember when the WWE back in 03-04 they tried to turn Billy Kidman heel? With the star press being like a deadly finisher? It's like, you can't do that, man. It's really hard. That's going against the grain. But they did it. They actually did it, and I got up from my chair and I said, cool, yeah. Bravo, WWE. Yeah. Bravo, fucking vote, man. Because the thing with Adrian Neville, man, I like this dude as a talent. No doubt one of the funnest wrestlers to watch, but his character, oh my God. People were calling Bo Dallas as NXT champion bullshit, but I'm sorry. Adrian Neville's reign since February has been boring. At least with Bo Dallas, people were watching NXT on a consistent basis. With Adrian Neville, man, it's been on and off. So many people are falling off on NXT. They just don't really care about it anymore. And, Bo, yeah, he's not the best wrestler, but he was a good character. You wanted to see him lose. You wanted to see him fail. That's why people watch NXT every week when he was the NXT champion. And Adrian Neville, I just felt needed a character change so fucking bad. And when Sami Zayn looked like he was about to win, and he pulled away the referee from Sami Zayn, he looked at Zayn in a heelish-like factor.
He's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, and then Sami Zayn's like, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? And then afterwards, but Neville super kicks him, hits the Red Arrow, steals the victory. Fucking loved it, man, because now you're cheesing a possible slow heel turn for Adrian Neville, which I wanted to see. Because, like I said, from that promo vignette that I saw, it felt like they were going to go to a slow heel turn with Adrian Neville. And I remember before TakeOver 2, probably on Monday, Tuesday, I was thinking about how would they book this match? How would they do it? Would they possibly tease a Neville heel turn since Sami Zayn's a bigger babyface than him and more fans like him more than Adrian Neville? Or would they just go to a cheap, easy route and have Tyson Kidd win the NXT title? And one of the main reasons why I thought they were going to have Tyson Kidd win the NXT title was after Monday Night Raw, when Tyler Breeze got pinned by Neville, I really thought Neville and Zayn, they were going to make their main roster debut soon. Not probably after Night of Champions, but after Hell in a Cell. I thought they were going to start making their main roster debuts. So that's why I kind of felt they were going to give the belt to Tyson Kidd here, but I'm glad Adrian Neville retained, and I like the way he retained. And let me just say this, Sami Zayn, he has the best sad face in all of professional wrestling, man. That motherfucker, you feel so bad for him when he's sitting, it's the best sad face in professional wrestling. wrist tape all fucked up. He's sitting there like this, like
He's
you
like, I
can't.
didn't think you had it in you. Why would you do that?
Yeah, exactly. He had the best sad face in all of professional wrestling. That shit's money, man. I can already see like WrestleMania like 36 or something when Sami Zayn starts to get the Daniel Bryan treatment when all the fans want Sami Zayn to win the title. You know, I can just see the video packages of Sami Zayn sitting there all sad and shit when he loses the title. He has the best sad face because I actually can feel bad for the guy. Like every time, like even after the Cesaro match on Arrival when he lost and he had that sad face. You can feel bad for the guy. You can relate to Sami Zayn, man. Like, I'm going to be honest here. I never liked him as El Generico. I know that's going to piss off a lot of indie fans, but I never did. I just didn't get the thing with El Generico. You know, he was a good wrestler, but I just didn't get the character. But as Sami Zayn, man, I love this motherfucker, dude. This dude is a G. And I fucking love his sad face. I fucking love what he does in the ring. I can't wait to see what they do with Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville down the line, and you bring Inada down the line, Kenta. You know who he is. You bring Kenta down the line. You know, Stephen King may be showing up. King Devitt may be showing up. You know, so you know we got some good stuff coming from NXT soon, man. What did you think about, you know, the whole show, you know, with sad face Sami Zayn and stuff? Do you guys agree with me? Sami Zayn has the best sad face in all of professional wrestling?
Fuck yes.
Definitely. Great expressions. Gets you invested, too.
Yeah, man. Like I'm telling you, man, dude, that dude just has the best sad face. Undertaker Punk says, I think Neville turned heel tonight. I would agree with you, man. I think that, you know, we may be seeing the Adrian Neville themes heel turn coming soon. Like I said, they need to do something with this character. Do you guys agree that they need to do something with Adrian Neville's character, or am I just not seeing Adrian Neville as the babyface? Am I all wrong about Adrian Neville? Speak up, like. Am I wrong about Adrian Neville?
I would say like Neville was okay as a face. My only problem with Neville, he's a great wrestler. It's just my only problem with him is his promos. Like for the most part, his promos when I watched them, they were so fucking awful. But that package that they did, he actually cut a decent enough promo for my taste, but yeah, like that was really my only problem, and it was a minor problem at most, was his promos. But I'd say now once he does go on his heel run, I say he will cut good promos, but I gotta see it to believe it, you know.
Like that commercial says, British people make the best heels, make the best villains. Like that Jaguar commercial, British people make the best villains. What about you, David? What do you think about that? Do you think Adrian Neville's turning heel down the line?
I definitely do see that coming, and I think he will actually pull it off as being the heel. That actually would be dope.
All right. Lace Up Graveyard says, Adrian Neville's new theme song sounds like Helen Keller made it.
Helen Keller, whoa.
You gotta risk it. You get the biscuit. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, go, go! Boom, 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 boom. My mind, I was like, God damn, that's a terrible theme song, man. I'm sorry. That theme song's bad. So, y'all send in your questions. If you guys have any questions, keep them WWE and NXT related. You can ask us some questions about Night of Champions, but don't ask too much about that because I'm going to be doing a Night of Champions preview next week on my channel. So don't ask too much about Night of Champions or anything like that. Keep it with just WWE, NXT related, you know, who we think's moving up, what we think about the certain superstars. Let's play a game while we wait for the questions to come in. All right, so I'm guessing Kevin Steen's name is going to be Stephen Keen. What about you, Levi? What do you think Kevin Steen's new name is going to be?
To be honest, I don't know if they would change his name. I really don't know. Like, it's hard for me to even say what they would name him. I know we all know that Prince Devitt's Fergal Devitt, which is fine. I mean, that is his real name, and I guess they're letting him keep the face paint and stuff, which is fine. I mean, that's just a minor change for Devitt. For Steen, I really don't know if they can change his name. I mean, Kevin Steen's Kevin Steen, man. Can't go wrong.
What about you, David? What do you think Kevin Steen's name's going to be?
I honestly really don't know. I mean, I don't see what else you can really do with
Oh, come
the
on,
change-up.
just throw a name out there, like what, Fat Joe or something like that. Like,
Well,
just throw a
I
name out
wouldn't
there.
go
I
like
just want a
that.
name. I just want a name, damn it. Just throw a name out there. What you think his name's going to be. It doesn't have to be the most professional name in the world. We all know the WWE name generator sucks, so just, might as well try to think of a name like what, Calgary Thunder. Like, what do you think they're going to name?
I don't know. Maybe Justine. I don't know.
Just Sting. You got Sting versus Sting. Book it, WWE. It would be a bunch of money. My favorite, Aisha Boss, who was on the last live stream that I did. If you watch the NXT Fallout, Sasha Banks and Charlotte was going in on each other, especially Sasha. Oh, that's my girl, the BOSS, built on self-success, the boss, the HINC, BANK, Sasha Banks. That's what she does. She goes in. I love Sasha Banks, man. That girl, underrated as hell, dude. Like, I think she's one of the more underrated talents in
Yeah,
the
she's
WWE.
cool.
When it comes down to the Divas division, when it comes down to in-ring, like, I remember when she first debuted. She debuted against Paige. And I remember when she was facing Paige. And at that time, Paige was, like, the most dominant diva. Like all the other girls, they were okay. But they weren't as good as Paige in the ring. And I saw Sasha Banks, and I was like, oh, this poor little girl, man, she's going to get fed to Paige. And then
She can go, though.
and she put on a good match with Paige, so I was like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah,
I guess they actually have something going with this chick. So
Yeah.
I've been a Sasha Banks fan since she debuted in NXT in 2013. So I hope they actually do stuff with her down the line. I really do like the talent that she has. So let's see, do we have any questions? Like, the comment section is really, really slow, especially on the YouTube side of things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see if any questions. Is there any other things you guys want to talk about as we wait for questions?
I guess I can quickly just mention this. I'm still trying to get the Walmart Cup Series Season 5 ride list put together. It's getting tough because there's I wish they didn't have a 42 car minimum on the frickin' thing, which is stupid. Or maximum, I should say.
All right. Well, what about you, David? Is there something you want to say before we get questions? I don't think we're going to get any questions right now. Normally, the NXT live streams don't really get that much questions.
Well, other than that, I mean, I just really enjoyed NXT. I thought it was a well worth it show. Definitely, with the matches, I enjoyed actually with a tag team match, of course, the women's match, as well the main event. With definitely the matches that really were worth it. Of course, Kenter's debut. So I thought it was really cool.
All right, then. Yeah. What do you think the next special event's going to be called? Do you think it's going to be called like NXT Takeover, like Kenta Arrives, or like NXT Takeover Future, like NXT,
It'll probably be a rival again.
NXT Takeover Spinning Top, or NXT Takeover Elimination Chamber? What do you think the name is going to be?
Probably Takeover 3.
Takeover 3.
Yeah.
That seems to be the way they're going with these.
See, because they actually had a name for this one. This was named after the famous pay-per-view Fatal 4-Way. Remember when WWE used to have that great pay-per-view? WWE Fatal 4-Way? 2000, what year was that again?
2010, I believe.
With Orton on the cover with the blue 4, like...
Yeah.
Or the red 4, I can't remember. This was called TakeOver Fatal 4-Way. That's the official name. Otherwise, TakeOver 2. Alrighty then. Looks like we have no questions. That's fine. You guys have no questions about NXT. To me, I'm looking forward to see what NXT does in the future. It is going to be an interesting time for sure. But let's wrap this up. David, go plug your stuff as we head out.
Yeah, definitely. Go check me out on Twitter at DavidRivera1989, and of course on YouTube as Footman Project.
Alrighty then. Levi, sign yourself out.
Alright, I'm on YouTube, youtube.com/user/ThrashManiac99. I'm on twitch.tv/ThrashManiac99, hitbox.tv/ThrashManiac99, at ThrashManiac99 on Twitter, Facebook.com/ThrashManiac99 fan page, and that's pretty much it.
Oh shit. Okay, Aisha Bass actually sent in some questions. Let's answer her 2 questions real quick, and those are the only questions we're going to answer. Sorry, Aisha. Like I said, YouTube is slow as hell. Aisha asked, do you think Sami Zayn could be the face of the WWE? Not a face, but a major player, yeah.
Yep. I mean, the guy Yeah, the guy's great in the ring. He's pretty good on the mic, and he's tall enough for a guy.
And Lace Up Graveyard asked some questions as well, so we'll answer all these questions first before we head out.
Yeah.
Aisa Abbas also asked, who do you see going to the main roster next? Just the Ascension right now. Probably the Ascension, and then after them, Charlotte and Kalisto, and then after them, who else? Who else would be next? I'm sorry, I can't even remember.
Maybe Neville after that.
Over
I
time, yeah.
I could see the Ascension's definitely next to go up.
Yeah.
Then Charlotte.
Then Kalisto. Then Neville.
Kalisto, then Neville. Yeah, I would say Neville probably won't go up until right around WrestleMania time.
I think after WrestleMania, because like, wouldn't you want? I think they would have it where you have him after WrestleMania, where there's a bunch of British people and you want to use them to promote the British.
After WrestleMania,
So like day after WrestleMania, that's always a good spot for him to debut. You're guaranteed because you're going to be a part of a smart mark crowd. The fans will be cheering like crazy, and then all of a sudden he comes out. Then afterwards he wins with the Red Arrow over Zack Ryder. Who cares? Because it's Zack Ryder. Or maybe at that point Rusev will become a jobber. So Rusev, I wouldn't be surprised. And then afterwards, he goes into the European tour, and I think they'll debut Neville after WrestleMania for sure. When it comes down to it, it's not because he's bad or anything. I think it's just more of a business plan on the WWE's behalf. And plus, I think they're trying to build him up as trying to become the next longest reigning NXT champion type of deal. Like what Bo Dallas says, if he's going to be a heel. So, let's see.
Yeah, Neville's been champion since February, and it's September now. That's
he has.
Lace Up Graveyard asks, do you see them doing a three-way tag team feud down the line like they did with the Hardys, Dudleys, and Edge and Christian? Obviously not as good, but something similar. That's way too much to ask for the WWE, Lace Up Graveyard. You're asking them to book 3 tag teams to actually do shit in the WWE? You're asking way too damn much for that, man. I'm being dead serious. You're asking way too much. In all honesty, there's no teams that you can really mesh well. See, here's the thing. Edge and Christian, they were the well-balanced team. The Hardys, they were the high-flying team. The Dudleys were the smash-mouth team. Okay, you have a high-flying team in the Usos. You don't have any well-balanced team in the WWE right now. And don't say Star and Goldust. They're not a well-balanced team. They aren't. They are a good team, but they're not well-balanced because Edge and Christian, they can do a lot of the high-flying moves together. Goldust, he can barely do any high-flying moves anymore, man. So, he's not well-balanced. Both members of Star and Goldust are not well-balanced enough. And the Ascension, they're the Smash Mouth team. I mean, you could do something like that, but at the end of the day, none of these teams are on par as interesting as the Dudleys or as interesting as the Hardys or as interesting as Edge and Christian. Yeah, in the near future, I don't see it happening. The WWE should do something like that, but like I said, that takes effort and time, and nowadays they don't like to take effort and time and shit. That's too much to ask for. Anyone else's thoughts on that?
I could say maybe they could do the Dusts and the Ascension, but yeah, it's like you said, the Dusts. It's like Cody is the high-flying guy of the team, and Goldust is more the ground wrestler. I mean, they kind of, in some way, remind me of the Hollywood Blondes in the sense of that, where Pillman was the high-flying dude, and Steve Austin was more the technical or just ground wrestler. That's kind of how I see the Dusts being, and really, they've been a great team for WWE ever since they joined up together around this time a year ago, and they were putting on some great matches when they were champions. I mean, going up with the Shield and the Usos and other teams, and the Real Americans, teams along those lines. But now that the Real Americans are no longer together, it's really, you've only got 4, or no, not 4. Make that, well, I would say Ryback, but Ryback's kind of hurt. So they're not active right now. Really, there's only 3 main teams you've got on the main roster, and that's the Usos and the Dusts and Los Matadores, even though no one cares about them.
Mhm.
That's really pretty much
Yeah.
it. I mean, maybe you could say Slater and O'Neal, but that's just that's all just for.
That's a random tag team. Yeah.
I will say, randomly put together tag teams isn't always a bad thing. I mean, hell, look at
Mhm.
Big Show, Chris Jericho. They were put randomly
Yeah, that was
together in
cool.
'09.
That
But,
worked
but
well.
those are two main event guys you're putting together. It ain't like you put
Yeah, it
together like
depends on
two
who's in it.
jobbers. Those are actually legit main event wrestlers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Alrighty then. So we're gonna answer more questions. I guess the questions all of a sudden, like I said, guys, YouTube when it comes down to the live streaming shit, YouTube sucks dick because the comments don't show up right away and it pisses me off. The Redwood 316 asks, who has the best chance to succeed in the WWE? Prince Devitt, El Generico, or Kevin Steen?
Oh wow.
At this point, I would have to say Sami Zayn has the most success to succeed. Kevin Steen does too. He's definitely a really hard what's it called? He's a really hard working talent. But when it comes down to it, like I just see Sami Zayn being the guy that more people can relate to. Like I said, that sad face by Sami Zayn, legit fucking shit. He's a character you can get into. Devitt, I think it will take time for kind of the casual fans to kind of get him. And Steen, he'll do well because he can cut a promo. But I think Generico has a better shot, aka Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, Steen. Yeah, he could. I'd say he's definitely the close second behind Zayn because with Steen, he can cut awesome promos and he can put on kick-ass matches, and he's a big dude, even though he's a little bit short for a big dude. I mean, the dude's only like 6'1", and weighs like 260. But the guy, he's a big dude, and I think he'll get chances. I mean, hell, to the point that he finally got hired, and like Triple H has been trying hard to get him for like the last few years, and now they finally got him. So I definitely wouldn't see WWE wasting him. I think they would give him chances. Devitt, I'm not as familiar with for the most part, but it'll be interesting to see how he does once he comes up on NXT, and then if he does well enough, he'll even go up to the main roster. But definitely Zayn, because the fans in NXT love him to death. They chant "Ole, Ole, Ole" on him, and they love his promos. He loves his ring work, and like I said, best sad face in the business.
Yeah, dude, that's sad.
So, yeah.
Dude, like if you can just relate with your facial reactions, that makes you a legit star in my
That's
book,
money.
man. Like, if I can love you just for your sad face, dude, you know you're doing something right.
I did the same. I'd say the same thing from like 7 years ago for me when Mickie James, whenever she had her feud with Beth Phoenix, where she would get so close to beat Beth, and she would lose, and she would have the sad face.
Good stuff.
So, yeah.
All right.
And then
What about
she
you?
finally won.
What about you, David? Who do you think is the guy that will succeed the most?
They definitely have to be Sami Zayn and as well Kevin Steen. I haven't seen too much of Prince Devitt. Of course, I just heard very little of him.
Man, y'all never watched the Bullet Club? Y'all never watched that?
I don't ever.
Not exactly, no.
No,
Oh,
like
wow.
I would like to.
I've seen like pictures, but not like actual video of the Bullet Club because I don't. I mean, I'd like to watch New Japan, but I don't know where I can watch.
Yeah, it's everywhere on the fucking YouTube.
I saw a couple of things of it on YouTube.
Got. All right, Aisa Boss, I know you sent in a question, but I'm trying to find it right now, my friend, because you've been sending in really good questions. I know you sent in a question. Okay, there it is. All right, why is it that WWE brings good NXT talents and make them less important, aka Adam Rose? Oh, that's a great question. The thing with that, Aisa, it's more or less it's just like keep in mind that the WWE, they have to like not only book for these new talents, but book for the current talents that they currently have on the main roster. And then when it comes down to it, some of the older veterans, if you hear that you're working with this hot new talent that they're high on, you're not going to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to do the job. No, man, you're in the same position as this hot new talent. Like, take the example of Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger is a mid-card in the WWE. They're bringing in a new character, and Adam Rose, who's also going to be in the same position as you. So it's like, Jack Swagger wants to try to protect his character, but not try to seem like he's being a douchebag hurting, Adam Rose's character. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you have to book for all these characters, and, they can't really think of a great idea of how to introduce these characters for us as a casual audience to care about. Because the thing with NXT is some of these characters work in the NXT farm system because, let's face it, the NXT has more diehard fans. Like at the NXT arena, there's more diehard fans in that arena than there is in, you know, an 18,000 arena on Monday Night Raw. That is why Bo Dallas's character works really well on Monday Night Raw, and you can see why fans are saying, Bo, leave, and people love him because they've never seen something like this, unlike Kurt Angle, you know, like, unless you never watched in 2001, they haven't seen something entertaining like this in a while. But then when you get someone kind of like Big E Langston coming around, and he's just a big black guy, and he's boring, he has nothing to do, you know, he ain't going to succeed all that well. So when it comes down to it, what was I going to say? Pretty much when it comes down to it, it's just that sometimes they can't find room for you in the creative department. Sometimes they just don't put too much effort into you because Vince, he's stubborn. This is Vince McMahon nowadays. What? Adam Rose's segment, his debut, only had a 2.9. Don't put him on TV anymore.
Horrible.
So that's Vince McMahon pretty much, man. Like he gets all friggin' pissed off if he don't see you do well right away. That's just the bottom line. What about you guys? What are your thoughts on that? You know, like some guys that come up to the main roster, they don't do well when it comes to the, you know, when they're on NXT, well, they're good characters, but when they come to the main roster, they kind of don't transition well.
Right. It pretty much has to do, like, with booking-wise. Some things work for NXT and others don't work for the main roster. So it really does have to do on, you know, what works well and what they're going to be doing with the character and everything, which sucks. I would like to see a different change.
All right. What about you? Levi? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I would kind of have to agree with how the booking's been. And I always say this, but yet some people think I'm being an idiot for saying it, but this right here with how Adam Rose has been getting treated well because there's just too many people on the show, and that is the #1 reason why I personally would want the brand split to come back, so that way you can see people get chances more often. That's the #1. That's another problem I have with WWE is that too many people get lost in the shuffle, and it's because of how big the roster is. Because they try to put them all on Monday Night Raw, but you can't fit everybody on Monday Night Raw. You just can't.
That's why you have SmackDown.
Same with SmackDown. That's why the brand split, I think, should be back, so that way you can get exposed to certain people on a certain day. Like, say, Sami Zayn goes to Monday Night Raw. You can check him out and you get really behind him over on Raw. Adrian Neville on SmackDown, you like what he does, you can get behind him on SmackDown, and you would have interesting stuff happening in wrestling again. Like, that is why, and also with championships, like how not a lot of people get opportunities at belts. Again, they don't have, it's like, they've been, like, they put the WWE and world titles together. In theory, it made sense for them to unify those titles, but in the long term, for me personally, with how crowded the roster is, they needed 2 world titles. So that's my thing about when it comes to how big the roster is. It's to the point where the brand split needs to be back because it helps you get familiar with certain people on a certain day, and it would make wrestling interesting because it's like, which show is better, Raw or SmackDown? Which do you prefer? Like, that was one of those things that made, like, 2002, 2003, 2004, and even 2005 so interesting for WWE because of how the brand split was going, how there was actual conflict with the brands because you had rising stars like over on SmackDown. John Cena was rising up the ashes. Raw, Randy Orton rising up the ashes, and it's like, well, which do you prefer? That is one of the things I think wrestling needs, especially WWE nowadays.
Alrighty then. So we got a couple more questions coming in. Thank you guys for sending in the questions. It really means a lot to me. I like when I see the questions. The Gochi Man asks, "What made you a Sasha Banks fan?" All right. Well, here's the reason why I'm a Sasha Banks fan. One, I'm attracted to women with darker skin. That's just one of my things, like Mexican women, Italian women, like women with a nice little tan to them, or skin, you know. No offense to all you guys who like really white women, that's your business. But for me, it's like more of a darker skin for me when it comes down to it. Two, I like her in-ring style. I think she has a really underrated in-ring style. Can be very technical. Can be a high flyer if she needs to be. You know, she does a lot of moves that I like. You know, from the Puerto Rican type of wrestling, from the luchador type of wrestling. She has a really good hybrid style that I feel really does well, and she's very technical in the ring. So that's why I'm a big Sasha Banks fan, because I just think she has all the talent in the world to be successful. And her character is hilarious to me. I mean, you're calling yourself the boss. You're related to fucking Snoop Dogg. Like, for fuck's sakes, man. How can I not like Sasha Banks, man?
That is.
You're related to the Snoop Dogg. You're related to Snoop Dogg.
Better than that. Come on.
Exactly, dude. So you can't get any better than that. I read a funny interview. It was like an interview for like NXT or WWE.com, and it was like Sasha Banks talking about the BFS breaking up, and she put in a quote, "You think that just because I'm related to Snoop Dogg and I'm his cousin, he gave me money? Oh, hell no. I worked on this myself, built on self-success." I fucking started laughing my ass off at that, so that's why I like Sasha. She's hilarious. Mr. Juicy asks, who is your least favorite wrestler on NXT? Oh, Mojo Rawley for me. It's not even fucking close. This guy does not get me hyped, and I don't want to stay hyped watching him. Levi, what about you?
Whew, that's a tough one to call for me. I mean, either Mojo Rawley or Sylvester LaFord.
All right.
But if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with LaFord, because I can't get into what he does, and also I don't think he's that good in the ring. When Mojo, I mean, he can try. That's the one thing I like about Mojo, is that he's trying his hardest in the ring. But Ford, I just can't get into anything he does. So yeah.
David, what about you?
Right now, with this one, it has been somewhat in the middle for me at times, but as of right now, I'm not for too much in CJ Parker that much, really.
Oh, God. Dude, okay, so let me tell you something about CJ Parker's theme song, man. That song is like something from Tony Hawk, man. Like, could you imagine you doing like the freaking move, like
Skater.
Like, you know, that's a Tony Hawk thing. Listen to CJ Parker's theme. Watch someone play Tony Hawk on YouTube. Put that shit on mute. You will think you're actually watching a Tony Hawk gameplay minus the sound effects, dude. I'm telling you right now, dude. That theme song is a Tony Hawk theme song. That is a Tony Hawk theme song rated all over it. Jay Walker asks, why does NXT seem to have better writing than SmackDown and Raw? Oh, well, really,
No
to be
doubt.
honest, NXT is only an hour long. That helps. You don't really have to worry about focusing all your talent at once, and you don't have to worry too much about these guys having egos backstage, because, yes, there could be some egos backstage on NXT, but these people are here to learn and develop their skills towards the main roster, so it's easier to interact with the superstars on the NXT than it is on the SmackDown and Raw. And not only that, for Raw, you have to write for 3 hours of television. SmackDown, you have to write for 2 hours. I mean, man, just saying, man, it's harder to write for 2 hours of television than it is for 1 hour. And it's not even an hour at that. It's like 45 minutes, because they still have commercials for whatever reason. But, yeah, that's why it's actually seems to have better writing. What about you,
And
Levi?
not to mention, the fans are more into NXT than Raw.
Yeah.
I'd pretty much
Yeah,
agree
they
with
really get into it.
I'd pretty much agree with you, Chase, on that one.
Yeah, same here.
All right, then. I answered the question for both of them. And Aisa Boss, we're actually going to end this one off with this question right here. Sorry if there's other questions. I'm going to refresh it one more time just to see if I'm going to miss any questions. But if not, I don't know if it's a girl or a guy, and looks like we got another question. Maybe it's just Aisa asking the question. And the Real Heel is asking the question. All right, Aisa Boss asked, where is the question? I know Aisa asked the question. I just saw it. All right, we're going to answer Real Heel's question, and then we'll answer Aisa's to finish off this. And now I lost the Real Heel's question. Fuck you, YouTube, and your live stream chats, man. Ridiculous. I hate these chats on the live stream, man. Like, they are just bad. All right. For some reason, Aisa, your question's not here, but it had something to do with something about Triple H running NXT, and if he's running it like how the main roster should be run. I'm guessing on that, but I remember reading it ahead of time, and that's what I got from it. Triple H is doing a good job running the NXT brand, but in all honesty, it's like, his style of writing, the way he books, I just feel it's too mid-90s, man. Like, that's my thing with Triple H. It's too mid-90s, and he's still with Vince and the whole stereotypical gimmicks type of deal. You know what I'm saying? It's not just the black wrestlers. It's all different types of wrestlers, all different types of races. Like, they have stereotypical gimmicks added towards them. It's still... It feels so Vince like Triple H's writing. It feels like Vince in the 90s. Like, Triple H likes to go old school with this type of booking, but his stuff, it's like, no doubt, Triple H is a genius when it comes to professional wrestling, a great wrestling mind, one of the biggest egos in professional wrestling. I love Triple H, don't get me wrong. He's one of my idols for a reason. I got the Payback poster for a reason for Triple H, man, because I love the dude a lot. But, when it comes down to his writing style, man, it's just that, it's very Vince-esque. It's very mid-90s-esque. It's not really good TV-esque, in my personal opinion. Because, Levi over here, he lost interest in NXT. He wasn't watching NXT until tonight. So, really, that's not good news for you. So many other YouTubers that I know, they stop reviewing NXT, or they review NXT every once in a while. So, when it comes down to it, Triple H's writing, it's not perfect. It could be good, but it's not perfect. And it's not really the right way for you to really write your product that well, because if you're struggling to write sometimes good 1-hour shows, how can you expect them to write a 3-hour show or a 2-hour show? You know what I'm saying? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I would say his writing has been going in an all right direction. Then again, I can see where you're coming from, where it's too gimmickish from the mid 90s, but at least it's not as bad as it was.
Okay, no, it's bad because characters like Bull Dempsey and Mojo Rawley, something we've seen in the mid 90s, and not only that, Andrew Dawkins. What the fuck was that? Did you all see Andrew Dawkins? Ayo, ayo, ayo. Oh my God, Angelo Dawkins, I should say, man. That shit. No end. So I'm just saying, man. It's pretty mid 90s-ish, man, with some of the characters and gimmicks that he has. I'll say this, at least the Divas have characters, because we have had Diva characters since Lita.
Yeah, but I was saying, it is pretty mid-90s-ish, but in my eyes, it's not nearly as bad as it actually was in the mid-90s, because it's the theme of the mid-90s, that new generation era, which is the worst era for WWE, WWF, because of a bunch of different reasons. One in particular, pretty much, if there was an occupation out there that had to go to a gimmick, like dentists and and the freaking plumbers and garbage men,
pretty much anything you could think of.
Yeah, really, and all them characters really sucked. The only mid-90s-ish character that had any kind of potential was Waylon Mercy, but the only problem was the guy was out of shape and too old and he couldn't go. Though the character was really good and it's Bray Wyatt but when Bray Wyatt came in, it was basically Waylon Mercy except done 100 times better and more creative and a lot more interesting. And also Bray's young and can go, and that helps. But yeah, it's people want to go out there and say, "Oh, PG era is the worst era of wrestling."
Nah, dude, it's not even close, man. It's not even close. 95 and 90. Here's the thing. People say PG era is the worst, but 2000, I'll say this: at least there's been glimmer of hopes from 2008 to 2014 that, oh my God, the WWE might actually do shit. In 93 to 95, dog.
WCW, from what I've seen,
from WWE was insane. Wow. Just terrible, man. It was terrible. The Dungeon of fucking Doom should show you how bad wrestling was, man. Don't even get Hulk Hogan and Big Show fighting in monster trucks, dog. And not only that, Hulk Hogan throws Big Show off the fucking roof and stuff like that. The King of the Road match,
that's
God. Yeah. So let me just say, dude, don't even say this is the worst era of wrestling. For all you young bucks out there, go do your homework, go do your research. If you can survive 93 and 95 and tell me with a straight face that's better than this year, please tell me how. Like the thing 93 and 95 have that you could say is like, well, they had younger stars to build up in the future, which is true. But they're still bad eras, and this era, there have been younger stars, quote unquote, that you can build off of. Yeah, it's not the worst. Like, people who think this is the worst, it's just like, wrestling.
It's
like
one of the worst, but not the worst.
Yeah, like I will say this, wrestling hasn't been good in a while. That's just my opinion. The last really good year for me was like, I would say mid 2011 was like the last really good shit for when it came down to wrestling.
Yeah, I like that year.
Yeah, mid 2011.
It's like that's a trend.
A lot of markout moments.
That's a trend with WWE. It's like the whole year doesn't seem to be good. Like, think about it, with the PG era when it started. I personally think it started in like 2009.
No, it started.
Maybe it was 2008.
It started in 2008 after SummerSlam 2008.
Well, I mean that last portion of 08. Yeah, that last portion of 08, really good. First half of 2009, not so good. Second half of 2009. Yeah, second half of 2009. Second half of 2009, not so good. No, I take that back.
No, because the middle of 2009 was good because you had Hardy.
The middle of it was good.
And then the second half was bad. The second half was bad because you had like Cena versus DX and shit. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, first half of 2010, not so good.
No, first half of 2010 was good. I thought it was good. I thought that was good shit.
Well, yeah.
Cena Batista was awesome. Kissing babies and hugging fat girls. You know what I'm going to do, John Train, and I'm going to kick your ass. And Edge and Jericho was good. And Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, be running up that hill. Yeah, so early 2010 was good. And then afterwards, they had Jack Swagger world champion. And then that's when it went down. And then
like near the end of 2010 is when it picked up, and like
no, near the end of 2010 still sucked because the Nexus were still acting like little bitches, man. 2010 is one of the worst years for professional wrestling, in my opinion. WWE and TNA. Let's not forget 10-10-10. They're here, bitches.
Oh, yeah, that one.
2011, February of 2011 was cool because The Rock came back. And then afterwards, it was just a summer of Punk in 2011 that they dropped the ball on. And then afterwards, wrestling to me has just been inconsistently. It's just been getting bad and bad and bad. And it's not like bad to the point where, I just hate this company, I'm never going to watch it anymore. It's just been like inconsistent. It's like, you'll get like stretches where it's like, this is good. The WWE's making good decisions. And then they just like go back to their old ways and they do stupid stuff that you're just like, why are you doing this? So that's all I got to say about it when it comes down to the PG era. When people consider worse eras, go look at 93, 95. I don't even know how we discussed that. It's a Triple H question and asked by Issa.
Like with 2011, it was how it was. First half of 2012, I thought was really good. Second half, not so good.
I will say this: the first half of 2012, they did have that was one of the better road to WrestleManias. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah.
Era. I mean, Rock, Cena, Fortune, Fame, Memory, and the Memory will remain. Like the not really match. Yeah, and then the not really match, but yeah.
And then with 2013, pretty much from Royal Rumble till SummerSlam was really good, and then the rest of 2013.
No, I disagree with that. I felt Royal Rumble through SummerSlam was just unbearable. Besides The Rock winning the championship, just because I'm a Rock fan, I just thought the rest of the beginning of 2013 was just unbearable. But I felt that after SummerSlam, they were doing really good stuff until they had Big Show crying on TV.
And then the first half, so far with the first half of this year, I thought was good. And
that was good stuff.
So far, the second half, not so good. So far.
Yeah. Exactly.
It may pick up. It may pick up around TLC time before we get into WrestleMania, but that's usually when WWE starts picking it up.
I just hate when it slows down.
Yeah, it's always the fall time they slow down. All right, let's answer these last two questions so we can head on out of here. The Real Heel asked, "What do you see WWE doing with the Ascension once they make it to the main roster? Winning the tag straps." Easy question.
I'd say the minute they get their tag champions right there.
Yep. Jay Walker asked, "Who has the best finisher in NXT?" Oh.
Ooh, that is tough. There are so many good ones.
Hey, let's not go cop out. Let's not go cop out. No Red Arrow. You can't say Red Arrow. No, that's that's off the list because like everyone's gonna say Red Arrow. I actually want to get other finishers.
I'm actually gonna go with an oddball. From what I saw tonight, I like Baron Corbin's finisher. That is pretty good. I actually really liked it. That was an interesting one.
All right. What about you, David? What's your favorite finisher?
I guess I'll go with Sami Zayn on this one.
The haluva kick?
The player's boot?
No, it's a haluva kick. Stop calling it by MVP.
I'm just used to it because that's exactly what MVP did.
And by the way, it wasn't called the player's boot. It was called the drive-by kick. So, correcting you on that, sir. The player's boot was something different. It was the player's knee. I'm an MVP fan. I should know. I'm back, baby. I'm back. Making an impact.
MVP.
Yeah, MVP, my boy. With Destroyer Lashley and Kenny King. MLK, baby. My favorite finisher, fuck. It's really hard, man.
I know, besides saying the Red Arrow.
You just want to say the Red Arrow, but I don't want to be a cop-out like this. I actually
you don't want to be typical, but...
Yeah.
No.
I would say an honorable mention. I would say for an honorable mention, when the Ascension do the Fall of Man, that is really good.
Yeah, the double team is sick. That's awesome.
That's a good Callistos.
Good job.
I like it. The diamond. What it's called? Diamond dust or whatever it's called. That's what it is. That's what it is, right? The diamond dust. Isn't that what's called?
I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Callisto. It's either Callistos or fuck, because all the ones that I want to say, they're on the main roster, so I can't say those people's finishers. Like I was gonna.
Yeah, I know, right?
Either the Diamond Dust by Callisto or I'm trying to think. Everyone does a super kick as a finisher.
I know.
Everyone has a super kick.
In a different kind of way.
Rednecks and rednecks on my hands. Shit. I'm trying to think of one other finisher. I know there's another finisher. I don't want to say that because it sounds weak.
You know what?
Even though they can't perform it right, I like the vaudevillains Kenton splash to a Swanton bomb. That's pretty sick. That's pretty sick. They can't perform it well. They don't execute it well, but I actually like that one. But that's my favorite. But thank you guys so much for sending in your questions. Sorry if we couldn't get to any of your questions in time. David and Levi's stuff will all be in the description box down below. This will be archived, and then while it's getting archived and processed, and once it's up there for all you guys listening to this, like via the archives, I'll have the timestamps all set for you, so that way you can jump around in the video in case you want to just hear about a certain subject. If you guys just want to watch a shorter video after this, I'm literally going to go straight ahead and do the short review for NXT TakeOver Fatal 4-Way, so you can check that down below, as I mentioned in the intro. Thank you, David. Thank you, Levi, for doing this video with me. If you guys like my content, subscribe down below. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Come join in on the next live stream, which will be the WWE Night of Champions preview and predictions for this year's Night of Champions. We'll discuss all the matches, future fantasy bookings. You guys get the idea if you went to the last preview show. It was really fun with Heel Steven and OK Fate. And then next Sunday on my channel, the next live stream after the Night of Champions preview will be Night of Champions review with my friend Antoine Moore from the More to Life Radio podcast. We'll be talking about all of that Night of Champions for you guys. But thank you all for coming in here live, checking it out. Very awesome talking about TakeOver. I hope you guys enjoyed TakeOver Fatal 4-Way. Final overall thoughts on TakeOver for me, pretty good show. You know, first hour, kind of bleh, but the second hour really saved the show for me. So it's a good show in my books. David said it was a good show. Levi thought it was a good show. So we all thought it was a great show. That's all we got to really say about it. So anyways, I'm out of here. Enjoy your night.
Real quick, I forgot to mention this plug when we did the plugs earlier. I forgot to mention this. I just did the first episode of it last night. I am doing weekly Wednesday night Q&As. So if you guys go on my channel and you find the first episode, which I put last night, you can send as much questions as you want regarding music, sports, wrestling, video games, entertainment, stuff like that, and I'll answer them next Wednesday night. Still haven't thought of the name of the show or the intro for it yet, but right now it's just called Wednesday Night Q&As. But I decided.
Q&As with Flash. All right.
Yeah, all right then. So there we go. He has his Q&As coming up. Redwood 316 Real Heel. You guys ask questions on all my Q&As. Go show some love to Levi McIntyre. His channel is in the description box down below. Anyways, guys, I'll see you all next time for the Night of Champions preview and Night of Champions review for the live streams. And I'll see you all next time with my NXT short review and all the other channel stuff that you can see on this channel. Subscribe. All right. Peace, guys.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.